Chapter 1. In the Cachot. François Soubirous gets up in the dark. It is just 6. Long ago he lost possession of the silver watch, which was a wedding present from his clever sister-in-law, Bernard Castereau. The ticket for it, as well as the tickets for other poor little treasures issued by the municipal pawn brokerage, had lapsed the autumn before. Soubirous knows that it is 6, even though the chimes of the parish church of Saint-Pierre had not yet rung for early mass. The poor have the time in their bones. Without dial or bell they know what hour has struck, for the poor are always afraid of being late. The man gropes for his wooden shoes, but he holds them in his hand so as to make no noise. Barefoot he stands on the icy stone floor and listens to the various breathings of the sleeping members of his family. It is a strange music which weighs upon his heart. 6 human beings share the room. He and Louise have managed to keep their good wedding bed, witness of a once hopeful start in life. But the 2 adolescent girls, Bernadette and Marie, must sleep on a hard enough couch. The youngest 2, finally, Jean-Marie and Justin, are bedded by their mother on a sack of straw, which she rolls up by day. François Soubirous, who still does not stir from his place, casts a glance at the open hearth. It is really not a proper hearth, but a crude fireplace improvised by the stone mason André Sajou, owner of this magnificent dwelling, for his tenants. Under the ashes glimmer and crackle remains of fresh branches too wet to burn up. Now and then a pale gleam quivers, but the man lacks the energy to stir the remnants of the fire. He turns his glance to the windows and watches the night turn grey beyond. Therewith his deep discomfort turns into angry bitterness. A curse trembles on his lips. Soubirous is a strange fellow. What annoys him more than this wretched room is the 2 barred windows, one larger, one smaller, these 2 abject, squinting eyes turned on the filthy yard of the Cachot, where the dunghill of the whole neighborhood stinks to heaven. For he is, after all, no vagabond or rag-picker, but an honest-to-God miller, and even mill-owner, and so, in his way, as good a man as Monsieur de Lafitte, with his big sawmill. The Boully mill below Chateau Fort could stand comparison with any mill for miles and miles around. Even the Escobeil mill at Arquizac-les-Angles was not bad at all. The old Bandeau mill was nothing to be proud of, yet it was a mill. Was it perhaps the fault of the good miller Soubirous that the La Paca brook which used to turn the wheels had been dry for years? Or that the price of grain had risen? Or that there were more and more people out of work? God was responsible if you liked, or the emperor, or the prefect, or the devil knows who. Not a decent man like François Soubirous, even though he likes an occasional glass and an occasional game of cards at the inn. Guilty or not, what is the difference? There he is with his family in the Cachot, and the Cachot in the Rue des Petites Fossés is really not a dwelling at all, but the former town jail. The walls sweat with moisture, fungi crouch in the cracks, the boards are warped, bread mildews in an hour. In summer one roasts, in winter one freezes. It is for this reason that several years ago Monsieur Lacadet, mayor of Lourdes, ordered the Cachot to be abandoned, and the vagabonds and evil-doers to be housed in the building of the city gate of Bau by reason of the emphatically better hygienic conditions there. But the conditions in the Cachot are good enough for the Soubirous family. We have the proof, the former miller reflects. He had heard Bernadette's lungs hissing and whistling again half the night. This thought makes him feel so lamentably sorry for himself that he is absolutely determined to creep back into bed and go on sleeping. But this cowardly retreat from reality is barred to him, since in the meantime Mother Soubirous has arisen also. She is a woman of 35 or 6, but looks 50. She busies herself with the fire at once, blows the sparks out of the ashes, heaps on them smoking straw, shavings, and a few dry branches, and finally hangs the copper kettle over the new flames. Soubirous regards his wife's silent activity with a